Hey kids, today let's learn an interesting lesson. The title of the lesson is Crying. The lesson Crying is a poem written by Galway Kinnell, and this lesson is included in Unit 4 of your Marigold English Reader. Here is some information about the poet Galway Kinnell. Galway Kinnell was born in the year 1927 and he passed away in the year 2014. He was an American poet who won the Pulitzer Prize for Poetry for his 1982 collection, Selected Poems. Now let's start the poem. The title of the poem is Crying. Crying only a little bit is no use. You must cry until your pillow is soaked. Then you can jump in the shower and splash, splash, splash. Then you can throw open your window and ha 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 ha. And if people say, hey, what's going on up there? Ha ha, sing back. Happiness was hiding in the last tear. I wept it. Ha ha. Let's read the poem again. Crying only a little bit is no use. You must cry until your pillow is soaked. Then you can jump in the shower and splash, splash, splash. Then you can throw open your window and ha 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 ha. And if people say, hey, what's going on up there? Ha ha, sing back. Happiness was hiding in the last tear. I wept it. Ha ha. Explanation to the first stanza. Crying only a little bit is no use. You must cry until your pillow is soaked. Then you can jump in the shower and splash, splash, splash. In the first stanza, the poet Galway Kinnell says that when we are feeling blue, a little bit of crying is of no help as it won't ease your pain. Instead, the poet urges us to cry our hearts out until our pillows get soaked with tears. And once we have cried our hearts out, we feel relieved. By washing away all the toxins from our body, crying can soothe our hearts and uplift our mood. And once we feel relaxed, it will be easy to enjoy a shower and splash around the water for fun. Stanza 2. Then you can throw open your window and ha 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 ha. And if people say, hey, what's going on up there? Ha ha, sing back. Happiness was hiding in the last tear. I wept it. Ha ha. The second stanza tells us the advantages of a good cry. Once the sadness is washed away, we feel lighter. Then we will be truly happy. Further, the poet urges us not to be afraid of the people around. Let them think anything about you, for it is not them who define you. When people try to poke around, do not be embarrassed or ashamed to let them know that you were crying. Be bold to reply that happiness was hiding in the last tear, so you had wept it out, only to find happiness. This approach will help us in dealing with things in a positive way. Now let's go through the summary of the poem. The poem lays bare before us the importance of crying in the emotional well-being of an individual. Though considered as a sign of weakness, it is the best way to purge ourselves of our sorrows and agony. So the poem urges us to cry our hearts out in times of distress without any shame of being judged by others. This approach will help us in coping with distress in a positive way and leave us truly happy. Now that we have understood the poem, let's discuss the new words. The first new word is soaked and it means completely wet. The second new word is shower and it refers to a bath in which water is sprayed from above. The third new word is wept and it means to shed tears or cried. Now let's discuss the questions given here from the poem. The first question included here is, according to the poet, should you cry a little or should you cry a lot? Here we know that, according to the poet, we should cry a lot. Now, the second question is, what can you do after crying a lot? The answer for this question is, after crying a lot, we can laugh heartily. The third question is, read the first two lines of the poem. Is the mood happy, sad, angry, jealous, or upset? In the first two lines, the mood of the poem is sad. Now, the second question is, in the last few lines, the mood of the poet has changed. What is it now? The mood of the poet in the last few lines is very happy or cheerful. Moving on to the fourth question, are these sentences right or wrong? So let's find out. The first statement here is, the poet says you must not cry much, which is wrong. The second statement here is, the poet says that you should cry till your pillow is soaked, which is right. The third statement is, the poet says that after crying, you should open the window and laugh so that the people will see that you are happy, which is also correct. Now, the last statement here is, the poet says that you should open the window and show people that you are crying, which is wrong. So, children, here we have discussed the question and answers from this lesson. This is all I have for you in today's session. Thank you for watching.